Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Or if you happen to be new here, please don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest sci-fi TV news on YouTube. So today I'm talking about something a little bit different. I know this is primarily a Star Trek based YouTube channel, but today I'm talking about Babylon 5, which is one of my probably second favourite sci-fi TV franchises of all time, and some fantastic news that Babylon 5 is returning to TV. The 5 years that it ran in the 90s, amidst all of the other sort of, TV movies and everything that came out for that franchise, was just the storytelling for that show was just through the roof. The way J. Michael Straczynski plotted out a 5-year story with a beginning, a middle and an end was really, for the time, revolutionary. Some of the best science fiction storytelling in the last 30 years was kind of done by Babylon 5, I think. And there's a lot of Star Trek fans out there who are also Bab 5 fans, like myself. So I thought I'd talk about this latest news today, that Babylon 5 is returning to our screens. Now, one of the most important points about Babylon 5's return to TV is it's going to be written and helmed by none other than J. Michael Straczynski. JMS was the original showrunner of Babylon 5. He wrote the whole series. I don't think there'd be any way you could return to Babylon 5 without JMS being a massive part of that. Now, one other important point to note is this is going to be a reboot. It's not going to be a continuation. And look, 9 times out of 10, I can't stand reboots. I think, oh no, I would much prefer a continuation of the story than a reboot of the story. However, that being said, there's been some very successful reboots done over the years, most notably the Battlestar Galactica series. Ronald D. Moore, who was an ex-Star Trek writer, helming the Battlestar Galactica series. I think what they did with that back in 2005 or thereabouts was so well done based on the original 1980s series. Most of the time, yes, I don't like reboots. I would prefer to see a continuation of the storyline. However, when you think about it, most of the original cast for Babylon 5 has tragically passed away. Andreas Katsulas, who played Jakar, Jerry Doyle, who played Michael Garibaldi, Richard Biggs, who played Dr. Franklin, he's passed away, Stephen Furst, who played Veer, my good friend Veer, he passed away. Jeff Conaway, who played security officer Zach Allen. Michael O'Hare, who played Jeffrey Sinclair, is no longer with us. And most recently, Mira Furlan, who played Ambassador Delenn, passed away last year. Most of the cast of the original show are no longer with us, unfortunately. So, in this sense, I honestly don't think it would be very difficult to do a continuation with, the original cast, just because so many of them are no longer with us. From that point of view, maybe a reboot, providing it's helmed by JMS, I think is not actually a bad idea. And this is what JMS had to say about the new Babylon 5 series recently. To answer all the questions, yes, it's true. Babylon 5 is in active development as a series for the CW. We have some serious fans over at the network and they're eager to see this show happen. I'm hip deep into writing the pilot right now and will be running the series upon pickup. The network understands the uniqueness of Babylon 5 and is giving me a great deal of latitude with the storytelling. As noted in the announcement, this is a reboot from the ground up rather than a continuation for several reasons. Now, JMS quotes an old Greek philosopher by the name of Heraclitus, who wrote, "You cannot step in the same river twice, for the river has changed and you have changed." And he goes on to say, in the years since B5, I've done a ton of other TV shows and movies, adding an equal number of tools to my toolbox, all of which I can bring to bear on one singular question. If I were creating Babylon 5 today for the first time, knowing what I know now as a writer, what would it look like? How would I use all of the storytelling tools and technological resources available in 2021 that were not on hand then? How can it be used to reflect the world in which we live and the questions we are asking and confronting every day? Fans regularly point out how prescient the show was and is of our current world. It would be fun to take a shot at looking further down the road. So we will not be retelling the same story in the same way because of what Heraclitus said about the river. There would be no fun and no surprises. Better to go the way of Westworld or Battlestar Galactica, where you take the original elements that are evergreens and put them in a blender with a ton of new, challenging ideas to create something fresh yet familiar. Which to me sounds like actually like a completely logical statement. I think there was so many twists and turns with the original Babylon 5 series, and so many absolutely mind-blowing wow moments in the narrative that we all know, and you can't retell them again, because part of the beauty of Babylon 5, I think, was those massive reveals that just had our chins dropping to the floor, and reveals about certain characters and everything that just were earth-shattering. And because we know that information, to do a reboot and to, you know, regenerate all of those again, I think that mystery is lost. You need to create fresh new ideas. So I like what JMS is saying here in terms of taking those concepts and ideas and, you know, blending them up and creating something completely new. I think that's a good way of looking at things. And JMS goes on to say, to those asking why not do a continuation for a network series like this, it can't be done because over half our cast are still stubbornly on the other side of the rim, which was JMS's way of saying half our cast members have unfortunately died, have travelled beyond the rim of the galaxy. How do you go on telling or continuing a story of the original Londo without the original Veer or the original Jakar? How do you tell Sheridan's story without Delenn? And how do you tell the story of B5 without Franklin, Garibaldi, you know, Zach Allen? The original Babylon 5 was ridiculously innovative. The first to use CGI to create ships and characters, and among the very first to shoot widescreen with a vigorous 5.1 sound mix. Most of all, for the first time, Babylon 5 introduced viewers accustomed to episodic television to the concept of a 5-year arc with a pre-planned beginning, middle, and end, creating a brand new paradigm for television storytelling that has subsequently become the norm. That tradition for innovation will continue, and this new iteration, and I hope to create additional new forms of storytelling that will further push the television medium to the edge of what's possible. Let me conclude by just saying how supportive and enthusiastic everybody at the CW has been and is being with this project. They understand the unique position Babylon 5 occupies in both television and with its legions of fans, and are doing everything they can to ensure the maximum in creative freedom, a new story that will bring in new viewers while honouring all that has come before. I think this is really encouraging. It sounds like JMS is going to be on board. He's going to be writing, directing, showrunning the series. The CW are giving him a lot of creative freedom to do what he wants. They're not, you know, muscling their nose in and trying to change things up too much. If the show is done in a way, much like Battlestar Galactica was done, that really kind of honours the original series but creates something kind of new and fresh, I think it's probably going to be a good thing. And as I said, it's so hard to do a continuation considering how much of the original cast has tragically passed away since. I hope they take some of the original cast members from Babylon 5, much like they did with, say, Richard Hatch, who was in Battlestar Galactica as Apollo, and they recast him as a different role in the more recent series to play a different part. So I would like to see that. I think if you could give Claudia Christian a role, or you could give Bruce Boxleitner a role, or Peter Jurasik a role, or something like that, you know, in a different part, I think that would be great. I think I'd love to see those actors back again and playing, you know, maybe different roles in this reboot of the show. So what do you guys think? I know this is primarily a Star Trek channel, but look, myself and I know so many other Star Trek fans are also big Babylon 5 fans as well. So I thought I'd go a little bit outside the usual subject material for this episode, just to talk about this great news that Babylon 5 is returning to our TV screens. So what do you guys think? Were you fans of Babylon 5 like I was? Are you looking forward to seeing a Babylon 5 reboot hitting our TV screens sometime in the very near future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to leave a super thanks if you're able to. Like and comment, share, and also check out my merch in the merch store, where you can pick up some great t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, all that sort of thing. Or click on the join button if you're interested in learning more about all of the great perks that come with being a Sci-Finatics member. Until next time, guys, I'll see you soon for my next review. Catch you soon.